What's going on, guys? Zavi here, and today we're going to talk about the best stretches to help alleviate hip flexor pain and tightness. Alright, so your hip flexor consists of two different muscles. Firstly, your iliopsoas. Now this begins in your lower back and goes down to connect to your femur. Alright, your second hip flexor is your rectus femoris. Now, your rectus femoris begins in your hip and goes down and connects to the top of your tibia. Alright guys, before we go any further, it's important for us to remember that pain in your hip flexors doesn't always mean that it's from tightness. This can also be a combination of that tightness and weakness in other muscles in your body, usually concerning your lower abdominal and your glutes. This causes an anterior tilt to your pelvis, which is shortening that iliopsoas muscle that we talked about earlier. Alright guys, so if you are suffering from an anterior tilt, from the weakness in these lower abdominal muscles and in your glutes, it is important for you to focus on strengthening those as well. We're not going to speak about that in this video itself, but if you have any questions about that, please feel free to DM me, comment below, and we can work on those as well. But for time's sake, let's get right into the stretches that help alleviate the pain and tightness of your hip flexors. Alright, for step number one, we're going to do a muscle release technique here. And what we're going to use here is a little cross ball. Now you can use a tennis ball, but it tends to be a little bit too soft, so I like to stick with a lacrosse ball when I do this. So what you're gonna do is place that ball right under the hip flexor, like so. And you're gonna roll your hips side to side. And you'll do this for about 30 seconds. That's about it. You don't wanna overdo it to kind of exaggerate any pain that you have there. You're just trying to get a simple release. Alright, for our second stretch, what we're going to do is what we call the tall kneeling stretch. What you'll do is you'll place one foot out, and the knee that's on the ground is the leg that you're going to be stretching. You're going to simply squeeze that glute, put yourself in a better pelvis position, and then lean forward onto that front foot. You're going to feel a real good stretch through here, and that's going to get you going. I'd say hold for about 10 to 15 seconds in the beginning, and then do the other leg. Alright, for the second stretch I like to use a chair or a box here, place our foot on top of to promote hip extension and flexion. So we'll place our foot up here, and then we'll bring our other foot up just like we did in the tall kneeling stretch. And from here, what you can do is sit back on here to get a deep stretch into that rectus femoris muscle we spoke of earlier. And then you can go ahead and extend out like you did earlier to get a real deep stretch to the top of this hips. Fire that glute as well to get an even deeper stretch here. Alright guys, so lastly what we're going to do is a dynamic stretch of this, which is going to bring you in and out of the in range repeatedly. What we're going to do here is a lunge walk. We're going to come here, you're going to lunge out far, keep that back leg back, squeeze that glute, drive forward like you did before, get a good stretch here. Then come out of it, and then go to the other leg. Squeeze, good stretch, and then come out of it. Alright guys, so those are the stretches I have for you today to help with hip flexor tightness and pains. Please remember doing these consistently is the best way to get the maximum amount of benefit from them. Hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to like and share.